I'm leaving the warning up for a little bit because you're going to hear a lot of things that are heinous, sadistic, evil, satanic. Pick an adjective, any adjective, you're going to hear them. Because today we are talking about, this is a Throwback Thursday, the case of Christa Pike. Virginia Woolf, is today your birthday? I'm looking at the chat. Pat K just woke up. Just Me's hands are not cooperating. There's True Crime Beat. Nene wants to know if OJ's getting his daily intake of bacon. No, that fat ass is asleep. It's been cooler in the mornings. I made the bed and he's already back under the covers. Good morning, Jean Ellen. There's Pat again. Virginia Woolf, is today your birthday? Seems like someone's having a birthday but doesn't want to admit it. Oh, no, I'm a Leo. Really? So you have the same birthday as Pat K? Okay. And look at this. Tea Time Sleuth is back. It took me forever to hunt her down and find her because, since Zuckerberg did the fuckerberg on me and I lost my other account, which I have zero issue in getting it back. Okay. They said I violated community standards. So I was trying to find a lot of you from my personal account. Okay. Now we have a couple of rules for your old buddy Brooks and my personal account. Don't contact my kids, but I have zero issue with you bothering my husband, okay? Please send him all the political propaganda you can find, anything about football. Greg is fair play. The kids are not. Let's take a moment and tell everyone good morning and talk about pure D evil. Again, so glad everybody is here. And if you're not a member, please consider becoming one because we have a members live this afternoon and it's going to be very telling. Okay. There's going to be a lot going on in our members live like there always is. Okay. Again, there's going to be a prize. Everyone loves the prizes. I can tell you right now, Susan probably has a closet full of them. I know there's one in particular that her and Pat are having to use on themselves, and then they mail it to the other one. Either way, our members' lives are always full of fun. So let's get to Christa Pike. Not only did she murder Colleen, but she bragged about it. She was happy about it. The jury even said, she has the face of an angel, but the heart of a devil. Okay? All right, she was born in 1976. And at the age of 18, not only did she murder Colleen Slimmer, she tortured her. Now, you're going to hear a lot of stuff about how Christa has a undeveloped frontal lobe and all kinds of stuff like that. They all went to school together. When I say school, at this Job Corps in Knoxville, and it's not there anymore. Go figure. So she thought Colleen was trying to steal her boyfriend, Tadrill Shipp. Even though Colleen denied the accusations, Christa got a girl named Shadola Peterson and the boyfriend who's into satanic rituals, and they lured her out in the woods, her thinking that they were all just going to smoke pot together. Well, what happened from there is insane. Good morning, Sister Karen. Good morning. Let me just give you a little insight into it, okay?
Death row. Usually it's a separate world.
And yes, she's on death row, and she also got another 25 years tacked on. You know why? Because she tried to strangle a woman named Patricia Jones, no relation to me, in the jail, and then called her crazy ass mom and said, next time I'm really gonna kill the bitch.
A forbidden section removed from the general population of prisoners, but not at the Tennessee Prison for Women in Nashville. Here, an 8x10 cell at the end of the maximum security wing is the home of death row inmate Christa Gale Pike.
She was only the second woman to be sentenced to death in the state of Tennessee at the time.
A woman being sentenced to death is an anomaly, okay? Y'all remember old crazy Carla Faye Tucker in Texas? And they kept trying to commute her sentence to life and not death? They're like, oh, but she's a Christian now. She's leading the choir. No, they don't care. More women need the death penalty. Look at all the cases we do. There are some heinous bitches out there.
10 years ago, she was the youngest woman, I believe, on death row in the United States.
Christa does not deserve to die.
Okay, this is her crazy ass mother. We're going to get to the backstory on this. You're in good hands. Just follow me. This is her crazy ass mother.
No one deserves to die.
For 12 years, Christa Pike, who is now only 30, has faced the possibility of execution.
I did something horrible that is unacceptable, and I realize that. But I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals.
I'm against the death penalty, and I just have so much faith.
Carissa, the state of Tennessee is going to let the juice loose on your daughter in September of 2026. And I promise if something had happened to Christa, you would be for the death penalty. Her mom even went as far as say, just let her come home. I can control her this time.
That God is not going to let my daughter die.
Back in 1995, when Christa was only 19 years old, she was convicted of the horrifying and violent murder of another teenage girl.
I've never been in the presence of anyone I thought was pure evil, but to me she's pure evil.
Regardless of the crime she's committed, she has a huge heart. To those of us who know her, she's still a little girl.
Carissa Hansen is her daughter's staunch defender, but growing up, their relationship was stormy.
She could be so sweet and loving one day and then in trouble the next, and it was just an ongoing battle with her.
In 1994, when Christa was 18, her mother encouraged her to leave her home in Durham, North Carolina for Job Corps, a vocational training program for troubled teens at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
Job Corps promised an education. She could be a nursing assistant.
But Christa was more interested in her new boyfriend, fellow student Daryl Shipp. She was also intrigued by the 17-year-old's religious beliefs. He was a Satanist.
I think she sort of latched onto it because it was interesting to him.
Daryl was respected, if not feared. He protected me. He was probably the first man that I'd ever had in my life that wanted to protect me, that saw me as, you know, a treasure, something good instead of something to use and toss to the side.
He treated me like a treasure. He treated me like a treasure, not just something to use and toss to the side. He treated me like a treasure. Oh, yeah, he did. Matter of fact, he was up for parole a couple of weeks ago. And guess how that went? Treasure Boy did not get parole. And the only reason he could possibly get paroled is because he was 17 when it happened. 17. But listen to her. He treated me like a treasure. And he also stood right there when you took a big chunk of asphalt and repeatedly threw it down on Colleen's head. Hey, Carrie G.
Christa made other friends, including a quiet girl named Shadola Peterson. But Christa also found an enemy, 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer.
This girl had no idea what she was walking into. Okay, now the girl they're talking about before, here she is.
A quiet girl named Shadola Peterson.
Shadola became state's witness. She pled guilty to accessory after the fact. She got 0 jail time, 0 fines, a ton of freaking community service, but she was state's witness. It doesn't make any sense to me considering Christa tooted her own horn the whole time and was bragging about what she did.
But Christa also found an enemy, 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer.
Christa was angry because she had heard, or she was accusing Colleen of having designs on Daryl's ship, and she wasn't going to let anybody get her boyfriend.
In fact, Colleen was never interested in Daryl, but Christa became strangely obsessed with her imaginary rival.
Christa would go into Colleen's room. Colleen would wake up and Christa was standing over her. And she had called her mother, told her that she was very afraid of Christa Pike.
I need to get out of here. I need to get home. I don't want to be here. I hate it. And I said, you can't. You signed a contract. You have to stay there.
Then, on the evening of Thursday, January 12, 1995, Christa seemingly had a change of heart. She invited Colleen to join her, Daryl, and Shadola for a walk in nearby Tyson Park.
This is the location where Christa brought Colleen that evening. They picked this park because it was isolated, it was closed in the evening, and they would be virtually alone here.
Christa told Colleen they'd all go to a video store and smoke some dope on the way. But in reality, she had quite a different plan.
I wanted to get her off campus, and I had every intention of fighting her.
Probably when they came through this tunnel, that's when Colleen began to think that she was in trouble. And she started asking Christa if she really was going to have weed and smoke a joint.
In response, Christa started yelling at Colleen, hitting her in the face again and again.
As Christa was hitting Colleen, she was fighting back. And Colleen wanted to try to make sense of the whole thing. And she kept saying, now wait a minute, let's talk about this.
Then the horror began. Christa took out a box cutter she'd hid in her jacket and slashed Colleen's stomach, hands, and breasts.
And throat. And then they took the box cutter and they put a pentagram into her chest. Okay? This torture went on for hours. Hours and hours and hours. Go Buck Fuffalo said, I'm asking if we know if is her mom. Is her mama a Sagittarius? I don't know. I do not know. Token said, I knew Christa before she did this. Are you serious? You know her? Holy hell. Grab the link. Grab the link. I have got to hear this. Grab the link.
Colleen tried to run away, and that really infuriated Christa. And Christa and Tadero knocked her down and drug her back. Then she started kicking her.
Christa continued the attack with another weapon, a small meat cleaver.
I knew exactly what I was doing. Everything that I did that night, I knew what I was doing. And I think I was taking things out on her that had happened to me years ago.
Then Christa gave the box cutter to Tadero to use.
Does it matter? Uh-oh. Token is backstage, everyone. Good morning, Token.
Good morning, Brooks.
Oh, I'm so glad I've never got to hear your voice before or had you on panel. You knew Christa before this happened? Do tell.
I did. So my aunt lived. She lives. When right before this happened, I think it's her mom and her grandma lived in the area near UT Hospital, and my aunt lived 2 houses down from that house. And so during that summer, we would hang out together, and she was really into witchcraft and dark magic. So she had, she used to do this thing where she would take a glass, like a baby jar, like a baby food jar, and she would fill it full of razor blades and nails, and then she would pee in it and cut herself and put blood in it and seal it up and then bury it around that house for protection.
Is it too early to start drinking? It's 9:17 my time. Okay, so she takes a Gerber baby jar. She puts nails and razor blades in it. And then she starts cutting herself. OMG. Is that the reason that the psychiatrist her mom took her to said there was nothing he could do to help her?
Well, so we didn't really hang out, because I wasn't over at my aunt's all the time. But anytime I saw her, she was always wanting to smoke weed, and she always was getting into trouble. And so her mom and her aunt and her grandma, they all decided she needed to go into Job Corps because she couldn't keep a job. She couldn't get out. She couldn't stay out of trouble. She was always in trouble. So
I'm just trying to figure out how she roped this dude and this other lady into standing there and watching her kill Colleen.
Well, that's the weird thing is that they had to have been. She weirded me out. She just was really freaky and weird, and I always got this weird feeling around her. And so after a couple of times, I didn't hang out with her anymore. And then when this happened, I was overseas in the military, and I found out. I was like, "Oh my God, I know her!" I was like, "Oh shit!" So yeah. She was freaky then.
Were you surprised that she got involved in something like this?
No, not at all. And I was like, man, that girl could have been me. The one that she attacked, it could have been me or any other person. And I was like, thank God I wasn't, because sometimes I'd be like, that's freaky weird. I'm like, I don't want to have anything to do with that. And she didn't like it. She wanted. I didn't. They're not in here.
I may not make it.
Go get them from the house, please. So, yeah, I didn't know that she was like that. I just thought she was strange. And I like strange and different, but she was a little too strange and different. So, yeah. But I was like, wow, I can't believe she did that. And I tried to contact her mom, but her mom wouldn't talk to me. But that's all. I mean, that's all I know about her really. And and she was dirty.
What do you
You know,
mean, dirty? Like didn't bath?
she wouldn't wash, wouldn't bathe, nothing.
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah,
That's like Candace Wells. Okay.
exactly. But you know that I would say this about people who do not bathe.
Mhm.
People are like, oh, they're depressed. Well, they probably are, but there's something else that goes along with it. So in some SA situations, when after an individual is SA'd as a child, and the adult will bathe them,
Mhm.
and they associate bathing with, the force.
And I understand that she was predominantly raised by her grandparents.
She was.
That
Her mom was an alcoholic.
Oh, okay. And that one of the grandparents' friends was molesting her,
Well, there you go.
which is horrible. Which is
It
horrible.
is.
But does it lead to such a heinous and torturous murder?
Absolutely not. I mean, you can have. I'm a SA survivor, and I don't do that. So just because something bad happens to you, it doesn't mean that you get to go out and hurt other people. Can you hold on just a second? I'm gonna mute you.
Okay. Very interesting.
I knew what I was doing. And I think I was taking things out on her that had happened to me years ago.
Then Christa gave the box cutter to Daryl to use on Colleen.
He cut a pentagram into her chest with the box cutter, symbolizing Satan.
Here is a young woman who must have gone.
Okay. So after Christa takes a big chunk of asphalt, puts it up over her head, and slams it down on Colleen's skull. That's not even the kicker. Okay? The boyfriend who was up for parole a couple of weeks ago and it was denied. Thank you for telling me that, Angel P. He rolls her over and he cuts in a pentagram into her chest. All right? Her head was so badly demolished that Christa took a piece of her skull and put it in her jacket. Yes, ma'am. She had a piece of her skull in her jacket. When she went for her, air quotes, interview, she was wearing the jeans that she wore when she murdered Colleen, and they were soaked in Colleen's blood. She carried the trophy, and the jeans were also a trophy. She found it sexy that she had Colleen's blood all over those jeans. Her words. Anyone wondering why she got the DP? I'm not.
Through absolute hell. And I can't imagine anybody
Hey,
going
Brooks.
through that. And
I'm gonna step down. Thank you for having me.
Okay, baby. Everybody, let's have a huge round of applause for Token. Heinous, torture, kill, Satanism, all because she thought Colleen wanted her boyfriend. Hey, girlfriend, he ain't no catch. No.
Enduring that as she did for that long.
They toyed with her. They played cat and mouse with her. They would let her get up. She would beg for her life. At one point, they said that she told them, just let me go. I'll not say anything. And they said, you know, we can't do that.
I'm telling you, this went on for hours. when she would get her strength back, she would get up and just say, I won't tell anyone. I won't tell anyone. Christa is proud of this. Christa is proud of this. She toyed with her. She pissed on her. Even when she cut her throat, she didn't cut it deep enough. Colleen was drowning in her own blood.
Played cat and mouse with her. They would let her get up. She would beg for her life. At one point, they said that she told them, just let me go. I'll not say anything. And they said, you know, we can't do that. You know, we've already done stuff to you.
For 45 minutes, she had cut her. She cut her throat. She made that comment, the bitch won't die. And so she took a large piece of asphalt that was discarded on the side of the road. She made 5 strikes with that piece of asphalt, and finally she said, I want to see her brains flow. And she, with all her might, hit Colleen in the head and cracked her skull, and gray matter did spill from Colleen's head.
The 3 of them hid Colleen's mutilated body in the bushes and returned to the campus.
Where those trees are is where her body was found, and that's where we saw.
Retro, you are right. Evil is real. So they drug her to the bushes. I guess they were too stupid to know that there was a blood trail. And all 3 of them checked back into campus, but Colleen did not. So right there, they already have the time when all 4 checked out, but only 3 returned. They basically just handed everything to detectives on a silver platter.
Saw imprints in the mud, and blood drippings from probably her throat area. You see her handprints, knee prints.
Within 36 hours of the murder, police had recovered Colleen's corpse and had all 3 Job Corps students in custody. News of the horrific crime spread like wildfire.
It was really a slaughter, and that's not a word that I'd use lightly, but it was a slaughter. This victim is pleading for her life. She's trying to run away. She's saying, if you let me go, I won't do anything to put you in trouble. It's happening on a cold, rainy January night, in the dark, in a place where nobody can hear Colleen screaming, because that's what she's doing. You add all of that up together, it's hard to forget that kind of a crime.
It did not ever once enter my thoughts that Christa was involved in that murder. Once I found out that's what had happened, I still couldn't believe it.
Because her mom is part of the problem. Okay? This girl, can you just imagine? Just imagine the thoughts that were going through her head. Just Me said no one was covered in blood. I just don't really think a normal person, when they see someone, and this is what they testified to, disheveled, assumes they committed a murder. I just don't think they do. If I see somebody and they got, stuff all over their jeans, I'm not like, did you kill someone? Oh my God, I'm going to do a show right now. But her mom is nothing but an enabler. And for her to even have the balls to say to the judge, just let her come home with me. We're going to make sure she gets the help she needs. No. And I can tell you right now, as sweet as Token is, and she is, you all heard her, it's a wonder she wasn't the target.
I didn't believe it for years.
Police believed it because of the blood on Christa's clothes and because she gave them a full tape-recorded confession.
Christa, by her own statement to Randy York, said that this had gone beyond what she thought it would.
If you turned your back, you'd think you was talking to a little girl. She was very talkative, very willing, very excited about what she did, willing to tell you about it. And right off, I got the impression that this is the grandest thing that's ever happened to her, and this is her highlight in life.
I was the first one they arrested, the first one they interviewed. And I thought that if I went in there and told him that I did every single thing that happened up there, that Daryl and Shadala would just get to walk out of there and they wouldn't worry about them anymore because they had the real killer.
Through one of the psychiatrists coming.
They said she was actually giddy. She even took them back out to the woods and reenacted what she did.
Out with the opinion that she had all the profile of being a serial killer, but probably got caught her first time.
14.
Wow, that's something. She fits the profile of a serial killer, but she got caught the first time. Think about that. She fits the psychological profile of a serial killer, but she got caught the first time. Well, behind bars, she got worse because she tried to kill another woman. They tacked on another 25 years. And these people have studied her. These people have talked to her. They know what's going on. And in September, she will be put to death.
Months after the murder, on March 22, 1996, Christa Gale Pike was on trial for murder and conspiracy to commit murder.
Her trial was huge. The DA was running for office, so the media was all there.
My suspicion is that she appreciated that and probably felt like it gave her some status.
She may have found celebrity with the media, but only a jury would decide the fate of Christa Gale Pike.
And they did. And they did. And the reason that she wore the dirty clothes to see the police, the reason she left her jacket purposely in the counselor's office when the skull is in there is or part of the skull, forgive me for that slip, is because she was proud of what she did. I'm telling you, she thought it was funny. And it is unheard of for a woman to get the death penalty, but she's getting it. In September.
The Tennessee Supreme Court has set an execution date for Christa Pike. The court granted the state's motion after ruling Pike had exhausted her and presented no extenuating circumstances for commutation. Pike was sentenced to the death for the 1995 murder of Colleen Slimmer and remains the only woman on Tennessee's death row. Her execution is scheduled for September 30th, 2026 at Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville, unless a higher court or other authority issues a stay.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Cue the music. Justin Timberlake in sync. Bye, 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 bye. You're done, bitch. You're done. Even state psychiatrists say they cannot fix you. And even though people say it's her mama's fault, it's her grandma's fault, it's her grandpa's fault, it's the friend that was around the grandma's fault, it was from her spending so much time at the slaughterhouse because her grandpa owned a slaughterhouse. No. This is her, okay? She is diabolical. She is diabolical. When the juror said she might have a face of an angel, but she's got the heart of a devil. During the trial, when they were talking about I'm just going to say injuries to Colleen, she would laugh. She would laugh. At one point, she spoke out in the trial and she pointed out the jury and she goes, I did that. I did that. I I did that. And they were freaked the fuck out. They were freaking out. It's a wonder they didn't have to get a whole new jury pool. They should have gagged her like they did old Shabusiness. She would. Now look at her at her sentencing.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution in the mode prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to the custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Women. And further,
did she not think they were going to put her to death? Did she not think with the way she acted in front of the jury that the jury wouldn't say, no, go ahead and kill her. Go ahead. Go ahead. Nene said, is she crying or laughing? Actually, right now, she's just being hysterical. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death by electrocution in the mode prescribed by law, and that you shall be transferred to the custody of the warden at the Tennessee Prison for Women. And further, on the 12th day of January, 1997, your body shall be subjected to shock by a sufficient current of electricity. Oh God, have mercy upon you. Mr. Bates, take Mr. Pike into the door.
Can I please have my mom before I go?
Look at her. God, please hug my mom. God, please see my mom. They're like, no. No. Come on, Scrunchy. You're going to the big house.
Mr. Bates, please hold Miss Pike in the dock.
Please, let me just hug my mom.
Please hold Miss Pike in the dock.
I love you. I love you.
Look at her. Mom, I love you. And there's crazy ass Carissa. I love you, Christa. Mommy. Mommy. Get the fuck out of here.
I love you too.
Fix it, mommy. UT Devil says, I can't believe I never heard about this. Grab the link. Come on. We got lots to talk about. Well, look at that. Nene, thank you for the super sticker. Your old buddy Brooks needed that badly. Paper Cut said, looking like she collects American Girl dolls. I'm telling you, she's a nut. Thank you again very much. Very much, Nene. All right. The hits just keep getting better because she got crazier behind bars. Okay? There was certain medications she was supposed to take. And, well, she wasn't taking them. Okay? They were trying to calm her crazy ass down. Okay? Now, my understanding is this really shook up the Knoxville area. Really shook it up.
There are 53 inmates on death row in Tennessee. The only woman is 43-year-old Christa Pike.
You know, I'm not going to pick on Christa for those scrunchies. I'm just not, because I had a purple one, I had a white one, I had all the scrunchies. But I mean, Scrunchy Queen, she's really pissing me off.
This month marks 25 years since the crime that landed her on death row. 10 News reporter Jim Matheny takes us through the case that still lingers after a quarter century. A warning, this report contains graphic details of a violent crime.
Extremely violent. Now, I see we have a lot of people in here that are local. to the Knoxville area. I see Bonnie's Journey. I see UT. I see a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, this happened right not far from me. I'm going to put the link up. I don't bite, and my cat doesn't bite anymore either. I love to talk to locals about how it's affected your community when these things happen. UT, do you know if her mother is still alive? Last I heard she was.
It was a unique case.
Retired Detective Randy York.
Has anyone read this book? Because I really want to read it. A Love to Die For. Has anyone read it? I understand there's going to be a Netflix series about this. Now, I don't know who's going to produce it. I don't know who's going to direct it. I don't know who's going to star in it, all that stuff. But it's based on this book. Jules says, where does the mom live? In Sevier County. So she's still in Tennessee, but she goes to see her daughter in Nashville quite often.
It was a unique case.
Retired Detective Randy York investigated more than 1,000 deaths in his career. None more notorious than the puzzle he solved in January 1995. Putting it together painted a violent scene where killers celebrated cruelty and kept a souvenir of slaughter.
This was probably toward the top of the most gruesome.
But after 25 years, there's still one piece of the puzzle waiting to put this case in the past.
Every time I hear a young girl disappeared, I think of her.
19-year-old Colleen Slemmer moved from Florida to Knoxville.
You know, I feel bad for this old codger. I really do. Every time I hear of a girl missing, I think of this case. I think a lot of us, me included, forget that police, detectives, the people that investigate crimes and have to, face the devil themselves in interrogation rooms, they're human too. They have kids, they have grandkids, they have husbands, they have wives, they have a church community, they have things going on. This is not something that anyone should have to deal with. And this man has really put himself through a lot just having to detect this case and deal with crazy ass Christa, to the point somehow Christa got his phone number and started calling him from behind bars. Collect, just to mess with him. Okay?
To take computer classes with the federal Job Corps program. And on the night of January 12, 1995, Slemmer went out with a few classmates.
She didn't have a clue the danger she was in.
The morning of Friday the 13th, police recovered Slemmer's tortured body behind the abandoned steam plant at the University of Tennessee. Within one day, they arrested Job Corps students Shadola Peterson, Tadaryl Shipp, and Christa Pike.
She was the ringleader out of the bunch.
Pike and Shipp were in a relationship with each other and the occult, and recruited other Job Corps students to Satanism.
They wanted to sacrifice someone to Satan.
Pike targeted Slemmer after the two had a run-in at school.
Kind of an argument between two girls, so she decided that's the person I'm going to sacrifice.
The trio led Colleen where nobody could hear them, and then watched Christa Pike torture her for 45 minutes before finally killing her.
As she was slashing her, she was still saying, let me go, I'll go home, I won't tell nobody. And they hacked and cut and slashed.
Authorities say she was then beaten over the head with a large chunk of asphalt from this pile.
There was 2 pentagrams carved on her body, one on her forehead and then the main one here.
York says the interrogation of Pike was as chilling as the crime.
During the interview, she's very giddy, laughed.
Sweet Jesus. Sweet Jesus. Here he is talking to her. He's like, she's giddy. She was laughing. Remember, when she was in trial, they said some days she would come in and she was crying and crying and crying, going, I can't believe I did this. And then she would point at the jury and die laughing in hysterics, going, I did this. Hey, I did this. But she's not crazy. Believe it or not. She's been studied a lot. She's not that type of crazy.
Very cooperative. She wanted to tell us all about it, but she was giddy. It was a happy thing for her. It was the greatest thing ever, and I've never seen anybody else like that, like her, actually.
Not only did prosecutors have a cheerful confession, police found a keepsake from the killing.
She had a piece of the skull wrapped up in a napkin in her coat pocket. That's a trophy. It showed that that piece she had fit exactly as a piece of puzzle in the skull.
Do you know how long it took the medical examiner to put Colleen's skull back together and figure out if that piece fit in? No one just assumed that this is Colleen's. You see, you have to have evidence. But he said she had a trophy with her.
Peterson was let off with probation because she testified against Shipp and Pike. Both were convicted of murder, and Shipp got life in prison. As for Pike's punishment, Colleen Slimmer's mother, May Martinez, wanted the jury to set a date with death.
I would like to see her killed and not go on living with taxpayers' money paying for her to live in jail to get an education.
It is therefore ordered that you shall be put to death.
The tears flowed when Pike was sentenced to die. But just a few minutes after this display, she wrote Shipp a letter and was clearly walking the sociopath.
Okay. UT said, thank God she got caught the first time. Now remember, she's in hysterics. She's leaving. Mom, fix it. I love you, Mom. Then she gets into her cell and she writes the boyfriend a letter. Okay? Wait till you see the letter.
I miss you so much. You see what I got for trying to be nice to that hoe. I went ahead and bashed her brains out so that she'd die quickly instead of letting her bleed to death.
That statement.
Okay, let's look at this again. She gets back to her cell and she writes him this letter saying, this is what I get for being nice to that hoe. I bashed her brains in instead of letting her bleed to death. What a thoughtful bitch. Really? Thanks for thinking of Colleen.
The sociopath.
I miss you so much. You see what I got for trying to be nice to that hoe. I went ahead and bashed her brains out so that she'd die quickly instead of letting her bleed to death.
That statement was, I didn't let her suffer. Yeah, 45 minutes is about as long as it took, and that's not quickly.
The state sent Pike to death row in Nashville in 1996.
There is nobody that's going to take me out of this prison and send me to Disneyland to live.
And in 2002, a judge granted Pike's request to...
What an idiot. She goes, there's no one's going to take me out of this courtroom and take me to Disneyland to live. Listen to her.
About as long as it took, and that's not quickly.
The state sent Pike to death row in Nashville in 1996.
There is nobody that's going to take me out of this prison and send me to Disneyland to live.
And in 2002, a judge granted Pike's request to speed up the execution.
It's okay, Mommy. They're like, no, we're speeding this up. Hey, sec to no one. So they said they were going to speed it up. You know what happened? It's called the Supreme Court of Tennessee that had to look at all of her mental health records, all that stuff. They have to make 100% sure that this person did not know what they were doing at the time or did know. Remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about Cash Gernon. Now, Darian Brown, he will not get the death penalty. He's getting life in prison because he is severely schizophrenic. Okay? She has none of that going on. Miss Kay said, it's one of the worst crimes I've ever followed. I agree.
But more appeals and the broader arguments over capital punishment perpetually postponed her execution. While Pike has waited, she was convicted of attempting to murder an inmate in 2004, and in 2012 convinced a former guard to help her escape.
He thought he was in love with her, and I understand he made an actual key, and he was fixing to spring her off death row, which would have been the first ever.
I gotta fight for Colleen. I'm her voice.
Tried to kill another inmate and then started sleeping with the corrections officer. How the hell that happens, I will never know. We don't date at the jail. Okay? Ladies, we don't date at the jail. And he was getting her out. She would have killed again if he had gotten her out. Who's local to this area? I don't want your phone number. I don't want your address. But imagine what would have happened if she got out. They already said she fits the psychological profile of a serial killer, but she got caught the first time.
In Florida, May Martinez says she needs Tennessee to give her closure because the state will not release the final piece of Colleen's skull until Pike's case is completely closed.
They need to put Colleen to rest. Execute her or give her life and give me the rest of Colleen back so I can live.
Pike's execution and the piece of skull she kept are the final pieces left to end a cruel case that weighs heavy on the family of Colleen Slemmer and the detective who solved the puzzle of her brutal demise.
I never met the victim in life, but once you investigate a case, they become yours. Yeah.
In Knoxville, Jim Matheny, WBIR 10 News.
My goodness. UTD Vols said it just keeps getting worse. By the way, if you're not a member, please grab that link and become a member because we have a member show coming up today. And as you know, our member shows are a gas and a blast. But right now we're talking about Christa Pike. And she's beyond evil. It's almost like she's like demonically possessed.
Woman to receive the death penalty at age 18 in 1995. Now, nearly 30 years later, she is pleading for her life to be spared.
She tried that, and they're not going to do it.
On January 13th, 1995, Pike, along with two others, lured 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer to a secluded area of the University of Tennessee's Knoxville campus. Slemmer was beaten and tortured. They cut her with a box cutter and carved a pentagram into her chest. Pike struck Slemmer in the head with a piece of asphalt and kept a piece of her skull as a souvenir. Pike was sentenced to death and became the youngest woman on death row. Lawyers for Pike filed a motion on Wednesday asking the court to reconsider her death sentence, citing a 2022 state Supreme Court decision that said mandatory life sentences for juveniles and homicide cases.
Oh my goodness. Radio God said she looks like a Temu Tiffany 1997. Can I get an amen? I'm sorry, I about spit my coffee when I read that. That was hilarious. Great job, Radio Gods. And on top of that, Kimberly Mann is throwing out the memberships. Look, Token, Plead the Fifth, East Texas Chick, Diana Bond, Nurse Chansey. Woo! It's raining up in here.
Are unconstitutional. Slemmer's mother is fighting to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Now I'm fighting for justice. I want her either executed where she never can hurt another person or be alive and get things that she's not supposed to get. I want justice. I want Colleen to be, have justice for her. I think if she was out with general population, I think she would try to kill somebody else. I also think that shows a danger to me because she gets out, she can come after us.
She is right. If she ever gets out, she's afraid she'll come after us. She's very well aware of how evil Christa Pike is.
Honestly, I didn't before, but I do now. Because the way the state legislature has changed the rules on death penalty. Yes, I do. Wow. They'll say she's time served. She served 28 years. So yeah, I do. Being Colleen's voice and letting people know and the court system know that what they did and how to get this stopped instead of letting us suffer as parents. They need to end this. This has dragged on long enough. Why she sat in and got her nails, her hair done. She makes phone calls. She's tried to escape. And has angels all over in her room. She has a life. She's not just on death row. I don't have support for justice. I've been fighting this alone. Tennessee has not even tried to offer or have help out there, have anyone talk to me at all. I haven't had any kind of a voice. I've been fighting and fighting. It's been 28 years. First scene was the hardest, the very, very hardest when I had to be in the courtroom and see my daughter's skull and her body parts and clothes passed around in front of me. That was really hard to take because they had took their time showing it from drawer to drawer. Could not say anything, could get emotional, couldn't cry, couldn't do nothing. I was told before I went into the courtroom, there's no emotions, no outbursts, or I'd be kicked out. I wasn't near it. They were right in front of me. I couldn't touch them. I wasn't allowed to have them. Wasn't allowed to have anything. And it took 16 years to get the skull back. The clothes, I think, I don't know. I don't know where they are. I have no idea. She has clothes, brand new coat, sneakers, pants that they, cut up. I have no idea where all that is. And I imagine the medical center had taken all that. I kept fighting and writing letters.
Now, to be quite honest, they made it fair. They made it clear to Colleen's mom that all the body parts that they put out in court, that none of that's going to go to her. Okay. And she doesn't want them anyway. She might think she does. They will more than likely cremate them and send her the remains. Okay. And they said not until Christa Pike is executed. Well, I know who's not getting executed today, and that's our friend Kat, because look at this. We have Crime Lines and Lies memberships pouring out the ceiling. And fun to ski. What am I going to do with you girls? Well, we know who didn't get one, and it's always Walking Dead. This woman has nothing but pain and suffering on her face.
And going into Tennessee, often, probably every couple of years, I was just flying out there, talking and making a meeting. When every time they had an appeal, I would get hold of the judge and the lawyers. I constantly called. Randy Knotts was there at the time. No, I know it wasn't Randy Orton, it was Knotts. And then there's Joe Helms and Bill Crabtree were there. I fought with them, but they said they could not do anything. It was all in the court. After 16 years of them having it, Patricia Springer, the writer of the book, went into the courtroom, and I guess in the evidence room, they didn't have it locked up. She pretended she was me and said she wants to hold the skull to see what it feels like. Anybody could have went in the evidence room.
Are you kidding me? For one, paper slut. He said a whole ass year, Brooks. Look at that. Paper slut has been a member for a year. Not just a year, but a whole ass year. Now I want y'all to listen to this again.
Writer of the book went into the courtroom, and I guess in the evidence room, they didn't have it locked up. She pretended she was me and said she wants to hold the skull to see what it feels like. Anybody could have went in the evidence room. And that to me was not right. And I fought, and after 2 years, they finally locked it. And nobody could get to it. It was a hard journey. What they did was, after so many letters and so many meetings and stuff, the judge, I wrote a letter pleading to the judge, please let me have it back. And it took 2 years and I got it back. And then it was like 16 years total, that they had her. I didn't get to hold it. It was in a box with stuff with peanuts. It was not in, I could not hold it. They handed it to us, me and the victim, after she was me, stood in front of the judge, Lubowitz.
Now remember, the rest of Colleen she's not going to get until Christa Pike is executed.
And she would take out every piece of the box and count them, and then put them down and say marked A, marked B, C, all the way up, and counted them. But Christa was there in the courtroom, and she said, "Can I leave? I can't look at this." And they let her leave. They stopped the proceeding, and she was able to leave. A lot.
Oh.
An awful lot. The piece that they took out of her head, where the fragment was, her head kind of like crumbled over the years and stuff. And when we put her on the airplane, I had to have FBI agents to take me through there, and I had to have the airport security or whoever they were to take. I had 6 people guarding me with this because you can't put it through the airport through the scanners or anything. So what we did was they put it in a brown box where she was and just put another box. So as we were driving home, it just kept falling apart and falling apart. And there's pieces everywhere. We took them to, my state took them and cremated them for me for nothing. And we put them back in with her urn.
Okay.
Because the state of Tennessee would mail you body parts. Not tell you what it was, nothing. We got her genitals, we got her outer layer skin, we got part of her nose, all in a box, 3 different times. And they don't tell you, you just get the box. They did me wrong. The state doesn't care for victims. They're there to help the criminals. No, wasn't allowed to at that time. They didn't have it. No, nobody's heard my voice. Nobody's even had taken the steps to say, "Hey, we can do this for you. You can do this and do that." Nobody. They don't. They have forgotten about Colleen. Everybody's forgotten about Colleen. It's gone. You know, it's all about Christa. It's nothing to do with how Colleen or what Colleen went through, and she went through hell. You know, she was tortured for 45 minutes, back and forth, racing, getting up, trying to fight. She kept telling her, "Let me go back to Florida. I will not tell anybody." They knock her down and cut her again. She had a compassion, helping people, feeding people. She always fed the children that was handicapped. And like I said, she worked for the Clay County Schools doing the paintings and stuff. She did awful lot. You know, when you're out of school and you graduate, you can't work for the school system. Painting the rooms for a summer job. That was her summer job, painting the rooms and stuff. You know. So then she went to Wendy's, and the Wendy's is still there where she worked at. I will feel like she would be complete, but I also will feel like it ain't over with until Christa's not alive yet. I want her dead. I want her breathing another air. If they get the piece back to me, they don't have any evidence to hold her other than just the court hearings and stuff like that. Even though she admitted it and showed them where it was and danced at Colleen's site that they killed her at, she went up 30 minutes, 40 minutes later and was dancing around the the area where, in the park where she did it, and kept giggling with the police and said, "Do you know who did this?" and all that. And that's how they got her real, basically. She went up to a couple cops and kept saying, "Oh, who did that? Who's that?" And oh, they must have did a good job. And it was crazy. Yes. When they set the date to fight this appeal, I'm going to be there no matter what.
Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. And my heart hurts for Colleen's mother. Okay? And she's right. The justice system is there to protect the Constitution and the rights of the criminals. Okay? Rights are taken away when someone is murdered. Right? They don't really do a lot focusing on that. They're not going to spend a lot of time talking to Colleen's mom, May. Her name's May Martinez, seeing if she's okay. And it really is a very sad situation. Well, here's old Christa right here. You be the judge. Did she learn anything or not?
Christa claimed that she wanted to put Colleen out of her pain and her misery, so she did her a favor by hitting her in the head with that large piece of asphalt. She also sold out her boyfriend and her friend as her co-conspirators. If she is put to death, Christa Pike would be the first woman to be executed in Tennessee in roughly 200 years.
I was the first one they arrested, the first one they interviewed. And I thought that if I went in there and told him that I did every single thing that happened up there, that Tadaro and Shadala would just get to walk out of there and they wouldn't worry about them anymore because they had the real killer. I think I deserve to be in here for the rest of my life. I do, I know I do. I know I don't deserve to be out walking around with everybody else in normal society. I did something horrible that is unacceptable, and I realize that. But I don't deserve to die for the actions of 3 individuals.
The actions of 3 individuals. This was your plan. You laughed and laughed and laughed about what you did to Colleen. Now we know your boyfriend carved in the, what's it called? What's that satanic star called? Shit, someone tell me. We know he did that. She's not suffering. She's enjoying it.
Can you imagine hearing death penalty at 20 years old and begging to hug your mom one last time? That was Christa Pike in 1996. But seriously, that's not even the craziest part of her story. When she was only 18, jealousy made her do something truly messed up. Christa and two friends lured her classmate Colleen Slemmer into the woods, tormented her, and crushed her skull. And then, she took a piece of Colleen's skull as a messed up keepsake. But her
And she wrapped it in a napkin. Okay, pentagram. Thank you. Thank you. That's what was carved into Colleen.
story doesn't end there. Behind bars, she just got more dangerous. In 2000,
Can we have a hand for the judge? Look at her.
behind bars, she just got more dangerous.
Look at the judge. She has no fucks to give. She's just looking at her like, look, you got 3 hots in a cot. You get ice cream on Fridays. Okay? People are putting money on her books. She's popular in prison. She really is. Men love her for some reason. And there's the judge just going, wow, I should have taken today off. You know, that's the look she has.
In 2001, on death row, she tried to strangle another inmate with a shoestring, earning her another 25 years for attempted murder. Then in 2012, they uncovered a wild escape plan involving her prison boyfriend and even a former corrections officer. Today at 49, Christa Pike is still Tennessee's only woman on death row, fighting like crazy to appeal her sentence. If it actually happens, she'd be the first woman executed there in over 200 years. Colleen's mom has been trying for years to get that skull fragment back, but Tennessee won't release it until Pike's sentence is carried out. This is seriously one of the darkest true crime stories you'll ever come across.
It is dark. It's very, very, very dark. And just seeing the judge look at her like, I wouldn't piss on your jail cell if it was on fire. Virginia, prison boyfriends, WTF? Oh yeah. She communicates with dudes from behind bars, like Lazy Simon, like Susan Smith. Some dudes are into crazy. Good morning, Penny. Good morning, Penny. All right, we're going to get to some testimony. We're going to start with Carissa Hansen. This is Christa Pike's mother. Just listen to what she says.
Christa was born. She's spending a lot of time with her grandmother. And I wanted to be her friend. And
I wanted to be her friend.
I thought that maybe that would help us to be able to be closer together. So we did smoke marijuana together.
Smoking pot with her daughter. Okay. When she already knew her daughter was batshit crazy.
She spanked her for everything. I would go in and I would find this baby crawling around through piles of dog stool.
Crawling around through piles of dog shit.
All over the house. It was never clean. She was dancing around in a circle.
Who was dancing around in the circle?
Christa.
Dancing around the circle while she was telling you about this?
Yes.
Was she doing anything else?
She was smiling.
Making any other noises?
She was kind of saying la la la. This is the skull from the victim This is a portion of skull. Obviously, I already had the skull. I took the piece and placed it where it belonged on the skull.
What was the cause?
God. God. The missing piece of the puzzle to the skull was in Christa Pike's pocket. This medical examiner had to put it back together. Listen to her. This is going to give me nightmares.
This is the skull from the victim. This is a portion of skull. Obviously, I already had the skull. I took the piece and placed it where it belonged on the skull.
What was the cause of death?
Blunt force injuries to the head or blows.
Now I'm going to put the link up, and hopefully someone local can come up and tell us about when this hit their airwaves. Because I'm telling you, it is sick. Annette said they keep trophies. Yes, she did. Susan said, did you say that the other two are still in jail? He is. The girl that was keeping watch turned state's witness, and she got probation. From what I'm understanding, she didn't really know what was going on. I don't believe it. That's just what they report. Okay. Personally, I don't know why they needed her to be a state's witness because, well, let's face it, you have Colleen's body, and then you have Christa, who was giddy AF. She was loving telling him this. Okay? She told him the whole story. The whole story. She goes, well, I thought if I told him, they would just let everyone else go. No, home skillet, it doesn't work that way. And believe it or not, everything in her confession was forensically proven. Every bit of it. Because you can't trust a criminal to tell you anything. Sometimes they'll even take credit for shit they didn't do. All right? Look at the name of my channel. Crime, Lines, and Lies. You have a crime line, which equates with time. And then you have lies. Criminals fucking lie. I'm telling you, they do. And so when people go, Brooks, they confess. So what's the big deal? I mean, why don't they just put them in jail? I mean, they can, honey, no. They have to investigate even a confession. Okay? And it's plain as day that Christa is bat shit crazy. And I don't mean in a mentally disturbed way. I mean in a demonic way. Had she escaped jail like she was trying to do, she would have killed more people. I'm telling you, she would have. But now, guess what? She's going to get her some juice in the veins come September, because when they put her to death, they said it was going to be the electric chair. That was popular back in the 90s. They quit using it. And so now it's lethal injection. And the juice she's going to get is not going to be a Capri Sun. And of course, people say, well, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long, Brooks? What? I don't fucking know. I don't work there. The only thing I can say is because she pisses sitting down. It's a woman. It's a woman. That's why there is a double standard with the justice system. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. There is a double standard. If she was a man, Tennessee would have killed her in 2012. Ilyanka, sounds like she couldn't wait until she escaped. She wanted taste of blood more in prison. Did I hear correct that she tried to? Yep, she did. She tried to kill an inmate. She tried to kill an inmate. That's the reason they gave her 25 years for attempted murder on top of a life sentence with death. It's a disgusting case. She's a disgusting person, but you guys are not. Let me tell you why. Big T has been a member for 40 months. Look at that. Nene, super sticker. Thank you, girlfriend. Nene has been a member for 29 months. Radio Gods said that Christa looks like a Timu Tiffany, 1997, member for 22 months. Kimberly Mann, gifted Crime Lines and Laws memberships. Kat, gifted Crime Lines and Laws memberships. Fun to Ski, gifted Crime Lines and Laws memberships. And Paper Slut let us know he's been here a whole ass year. Well, you better get your membership ASAP. If you need till tomorrow, I can put the show off till tomorrow. But I'm telling you, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. So put a 1 in chat if you want me to do the members live today, or if you need me to wait until tomorrow. Because I see a few people in here saying that they have to wait till tomorrow. I'll just go with my gut. Anyway, this has been a great show. I love doing Throwback Thursdays. By the way, if anyone has an idea, about another Throwback Thursday that you would like to do, well, just get a hold of your old buddy Brooks. Okay? You know how to reach me. Most of you have my phone number. Okay, Tea Time Sleuth said tomorrow, please. Annette wants to get a membership. Just Me said she'll be out tomorrow. Where are you creeping to, Susan? Hell, you got going on? Hell, Susan got going on. All right, again, there's the link. Oh, shit, wrong link. You're in good hands here, never worry. Okay, here we go. Here's the link. It's also posted on the channel. And I have just decided to make an executive decision. Oh, look at that. Mandy, new member. Hey, Mandy, what up? What up? Okay. DT Driver just gifted 10 Crime Lines and Lies memberships. Please don't let someone I hate get one. Please don't let someone I hate get one. Please don't let... Michelle After Dark got one. Thanks, Greg. Actually, I don't hate her. I'm just joking. Man, I'll tell you what. Oh, Mirror Camp. I didn't know hers expired. Well, my goodness. My goodness. Okay, Retro said tomorrow will be better for Retro. Okay. Cool. Cool beans. All right, so the members live will be tomorrow. Okay. Now, I have a couple of other channels. And what I'll do is some boost work on the other channels today, okay? Thank you for being here. I know this is a hard case. It's a lot to take in. She is the epitome of evil. The epitome of evil. Epitome. And she's gonna get the juice. Hold on. Mia, yes, I'll make it work. Tomorrow or today? Tomorrow or today? Mia's not answering me. Okay, I'm babbling on. All right. Thank you again for being here. Because like I said, I know this is a very old case and not really something that's in the algorithm. And so not a lot of people are going to be concerned. But guess what? I am. Brooks, will you please look into the 2014 SXSW accident? I have no idea what you're talking about. Send it to me. Send it to me. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'll look into it. Absolutely. All right, so members live tomorrow, and then we'll either be in Discord this afternoon, or I'll be using the other channel. You guys are cool AF, and I'm so glad that you were here. I've been working, believe it or not, very hard on this show, and it took a long time for me to wrap my head around the evilness that is Christa Pike. Can someone give Webbs my email? Okay, Susan just did. Okay, so I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for a members live, and it's going to be a hoot. You guys are the absolute best. You're always here for the right reasons. You don't go into bullying. You don't go into drama. Because, hey, if you want to cause drama, if you want to pick on someone, pick on me. Pick on Kat. I can give you lots of subject matter. Let's leave other people alone. You guys are the absolute best. Love you bunches.